good, Commanders fans? And shout out to BetUS for sponsoring today's video. I'm just want to give you guys, I just want to say Happy New Year to you guys and Happy Holidays. Thank you for rocking with me for all of 2024 and all the years past. For sure, this has definitely been the best year for Commanders football in a long, long time, since 1991. We're going to party like it's 1991 tonight for sure. I would do a Happy New Year live stream. I might fool around and do that. We'll see. Just to chop it up with you guys and just do something different. I haven't gone live on my own channel in a little while. So just to celebrate the new year and many, many more years to come for Commanders, great Commanders football and having a franchise quarterback, being in the playoffs, potentially being a perennial playoff team for sure. So I just want to start off. So I'm gonna do a news dump. So I didn't get a chance to make a video talking about Marshon Lattimore yesterday. And what Dan Quinn had to say. He didn't say much, and then Austin Ekeler was on the radio yesterday, so just deciphering some of the things that he did say. He didn't say too much because, of course, he doesn't want to let, a lot of stuff out there, but just maybe potentially how they may handle him for the Dallas game coming up on Sunday and a lot of other players. But before we get started, so this is from NBC Sports PR, man, 19.7 million viewers on Sunday Night Football. The Commanders' the Commanders' OT overtime victory over the Falcons averaged 19.7 million viewers, marking the most watched Week 17 Sunday Night Football game since the 2019 season finale, which was the 49ers at Seahawks for the NFC West title. So usually when that last game of the season or those last Sunday Night Football games, like back in the 2012 season when we beat the Cowboys at home to win, the NFC East title, I know that game probably had a lot of views. But for us to have the most watched Sunday Night Football game since 2019, that speaks volumes. I mean, literally 5 years ago. 5 years ago. So Jayden Daniels, he really is box office. So I really am intrigued to see the time slot that they put us in. Like, let's say we do win on Sunday, which I believe we will. What time slot will they put us on for the playoff game on Sunday? The AFC teams played on Saturday last year, and the NFC teams played on Sunday. So if we get another Sunday night NBC playoff football game, I know NBC is chomping at the bit, and then it's telling, you already see how we were flexed into the Sunday night football game for the Falcons game. So the NFL made a smart move, and they knew that. I mean, that was the obvious play anyway to do that instead of having Dolphins-Browns, which would have been awful. They made the business decision to get Jayden Daniels in there against Michael Penix. And Jayden Daniels is box office, man. He really is. He is the talk of the town. He went to the Wizards game last night. The NBA page posted him there that he was at the game, him and his mom. It's like the game, she's his agent. She's like Tasha Mack. The Wizards, they put him on the Jumbotron, the game-winning touchdown pass. They gave him a jersey. I mean, he's starting to become he is one of the faces of the league. He's not the face of the league, but he definitely is one of the top 10 faces of the league. Had a top-selling jersey at one point this season. The Hail Mary, I mean, just you can go on and on about the accolades that Jayden Daniels has definitely broke and records that he has set and things like that. But yeah, next year we're gonna have a lot of primetime games. I know you want to keep your eyes on the prize for the game on Sunday against Dallas, but of course you just look at the things that have transpired. Us getting flexed for the Bears game to 4 o'clock. I feel like there was another game that we have flexed, but I think that it was the Falcons game and the Bears game that got flexed. We had 2 games this year that got flexed from the 1 o'clock spot all the way up to 4:15, and then the 8:20 on Sunday night NBC nationally televised football game. So on the national stage in front of 19.7 million average viewers, and these are the people not using Stream East, crack streams, meth streams, any type of drug streams. There's some other joints that I can't remember from back in the day. P2P4U.net. They used to use that joint way back in the day. So I don't want to give up all the sauce and all the sites and stuff like that people use for sure for third-party streaming. I'll just call it third-party instead of calling it illegal streaming. But third-party streaming, that's what I call it. Instead of, getting the Sunday ticket and paying the money or just having basic cable. But the people out of state, of course, they got to watch it how they can and get it how they can. And a lot of these streaming services are a lot of money, Peacock and all that stuff, so I can get into the spiel about that. But 19.7 million viewers is definitely legit. And, I mean, we're going to be playing a lot on national television next year for sure. So that really is cool, man. It's really cool to see that and hear that for sure. And then Jeremy Reeves did the proposal in front of a huge national stage as well when you think about that, too. All right. So I guess we'll talk about Marshon Lattimore real quick here. So Dan Quinn basically said that he did some running yesterday, which is good news. I mean, it's not like great news. He said Marshon Lattimore did some running today. Dan Quinn said this is for per Ben Stanek. We'll have a better sense of his availability later this week. So I'm leaning towards he probably won't play this week, but I feel that he will play the first round in the wild card. Those are my thoughts and my opinion of. Of course, I'm not there. I'm not in the facility. Dan Quinn hasn't come up with anything yet. Their first official injury report will come out tomorrow on New Year's Day, so we'll see that and react to that. If he is a DNP tomorrow, then it's not looking good. If it's a DNP Wednesday, DNP Thursday, and then once again DNP Friday, and it could be a limited. It could be a limited Wednesday, limited Thursday, limited Friday kind of thing. So we'll see about that too. But this is the game where it's kind of like you don't want to force him back, but at the same time, this game has a lot of importance to it because you could be playing against the Rams instead of the Eagles. And either one, I do want to smoke either way. I would love to go up to Philly and beat Philly in Philly. I would love to do that because all their fans, they were just obsessed over us, and they just been obsessed with us ever since we beat them, and they've been obsessed with us this whole year. I mean, rooting for Bo Nix and just rooting for Jaden's downfall. I get it's competition and whatnot. We're supposed to hate each other, but every time you got Eagles content creators talking about Jayden Daniels while they're driving in their car to work and stuff like that. They're just obsessed, unprompted. Like they talked about us way more than we talked about the Eagles for sure. So they definitely are scared. They definitely are shook about us for sure. So, but I would love to go up to Philly and beat them, especially their fans. I can't stand. And then the whole Nick Sirianni and Zach Ertz type of thing that happened transpired, their altercation. That they downplayed it, but I do think there's a little bit of smoke there for sure. But yeah, that's the update on Marshon Lattimore. That's what he said. He didn't give an update on Tyler Biadasz. Didn't give up an update on De'Ami Brown, really. He's just later in the week, for the most part. Cornelius Lucas went out. Andrew Wiley went out the game. I don't think he played. Yeah, he was out. So, we'll see what happens with those guys. Those are the guys to definitely pay attention to other than Marshon Lattimore. But let's talk about Austin Ekeler. So Austin Ekeler real quick here. So Commander's Wire came up with an article too. And I saw this tweet from, who was it from? This tweet, let me pull it up here. It says, so this tweet says, Commanders running back Austin Ekeler says that he's cleared all hurdles regarding his injury. He will most likely sit for this week's game against the Cowboys, but Washington hopes that he will be back by wildcard weekend. It would be huge to have him back via Commander's Wire. And then I did listen to some of the interview. It was on Grant Danny yesterday because he goes on there every week. He said there's some hurdles that have definitely been cleared. So that's good news to hear that too. And then Dan Quinn, unprompted, a couple weeks ago or last week, said that Austin Ekeler could be coming back. And he said that's a realistic possibility. So if he can be available, like, we don't really need him for the game against the Cowboys, but if he could be available for the game against the Rams or the Eagles or potentially the Buccaneers too, the Buccaneers can fool around and get the third seed too. Like, a lot of people are sleeping on that. And we could get our rematch against the Buccaneers in Tampa. So that would be, I would like that matchup too. Chris Godwin's out. They still have Mike Evans. They still have Bucky Irvin, but I think if we could just wrap up Baker Mayfield, I think we have a good chance to beat them for sure. Because we got pressure on Baker Mayfield. We just weren't finishing plays. But Austin Ekeler, I mean, it would be great if he came back. The only thing is you have to figure out who's the odd man out when he does come back. Is it Rodriguez or McNichols? And somebody asked us that on the Commanders King stream last night. And Chris Rodriguez is balling right now. So it's like, honestly, man, it's tough to really sit him. It's tough to sit. But McNichols has had a good season too. But Rodriguez kind of has the high hand at this point. He kind of does, really, honestly. This is what Austin Ekeler said too. So Grant Paulson, he tweeted out what he said. So I'll read it real quick. He said, quote, also Ekeler said, quote, "This is one category that is tough to talk about just because you don't want to say something, then something else happens. It's kind of a week-to-week thing, unfortunately, right now is all I can really say on it. Just to be in alignment with what is out there in the public. But my hope is that I can get back and make some more contributions to this team, hopefully soon," end quote. They also said, quote, "There's a lot of boxes that need to be checked with concussion protocol. You just don't really know. You can check all the boxes, feel fine, but you got to make sure that the independent is taking time to do their diligence. And they also feel comfortable with you getting back on the field. That's something that's out of my control. It's a process," unquote. So, end quote. So, yeah, I mean, but like I said, Dan Quinn feels strongly to come out there and say that Austin Ekeler could be coming back very soon. So that I am optimistic on that. I'm optimistic him coming back for the playoffs, at least that wild card game for sure. So that would be a huge boost to the offense. I mean, he is our yak guy. I mean, I talk about no yak Zach all the time, but Austin Ekeler, he's gotten some yak. He has 403 yak yards on the season, yards after the catch on the season. He's only played in 11 games. He's like our best yak guy on the team. Yeah, he leads the team in yak. He leads in the team in yards after the catch. How many touchdowns? He has 4 rushing touchdowns. He had 2 against the Steelers, 1 against the Giants. So, I mean, he's just a big part of the offense. And then in the receiving game too, he's had 33 catches for 346 yards. Then some of the advanced metrics, he ranks second in receiving yards per pass play among running backs this season. The Steelers, he ranks second in receiving yards per pass play among running backs this season. This was on November 8th, so that's how good he was in the run game. And then just the play calling at Cliff, like he just opens up the playbook so much. Like the screen game, the screen passes. He's our best back at doing that, getting the ball, just make something shake and make something happen out of nowhere. The misdirection by Jayden, he goes this way. Magic Johnson pass to Austin Ekeler against the Giants in the first game. So stuff like that just opens up the playbook so much. And he was big against the Eagles too on the Thursday night football game. He had 88 receiving yards, 89 receiving yards in that game against the Eagles and 8 catches on Thursday night football against the Eagles. But all right, y'all, that's about it. So somebody named James Palmer said that apparently some NFL players reportedly believe that Commanders rookie quarterback Jayden Daniels has a chance to become Patrick Mahomes 2.0. So, I mean, I don't have enough time right now to talk about that. I got to take care of some things, so maybe I'll make a separate video about that. But a lot of players believe that he could be Pat Mahomes 2.0. But I know, we don't want to compare Jayden to other players. It's easy to do, but let Jayden be him. I know everybody compares him to Lamar Jackson. Him and Pat Mahomes, the huge difference is the mobility. Pat Mahomes will never have 800 yards on the ground ever. That's just not his game. That's not him. That's not a knock on Pat Mahomes. That's just not his game. Where Jayden is excellent as a runner, as a dual threat quarterback. He puts so much pressure on the defense with his legs and his mobility and design runs. But right now, Jayden statistically is having a better season. That's the crazy thing too. Like he really is. Like the matchup head to head, he's having he has the just as many touchdowns as Pat Mahomes, if not more. He has, Jayden has 25 touchdowns. Jayden has 25 touchdowns, 9 picks. And Pat Mahomes right now has, where's it at? Pat Mahomes right now has, he has 26 touchdowns, 11 picks. So it's very similar. He has 2 more interceptions than Jayden and 1 more touchdown than Jayden. And Jayden has 2 less interceptions and 1 less touchdown than Pat Mahomes right now. So it's just very similar right now. Very similar statistics. And there's the quarterback rating and other stuff like that he's very similar or even better than Pat Mahomes right now. But of course, you don't judge them by just the numbers. But right now, I mean, Jayden, he's on a trajectory to be a top 5 quarterback for a long time in this league for sure. So other players see it. 19.7 million people saw it on Sunday Night Football for sure. More than that, because like I said, not everybody uses regular old cable. So even more people watched it for sure. And other countries and stuff like that too. So, but all right, you guys, let me know what you guys think. And as always, Happy New Year, Happy Holidays, Hello Commanders. Peace. Shout out to Bet US.